Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Kim Manley. I'm going to wait a few minutes for you guys to come on in. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Where are you tonight? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Hello, Ashley. Welcome. We'll hold on a few more minutes and wait for some more to come on. Hey, Deidre. Welcome. Hello, Shalonda. Welcome. Come on in. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Hey, Tanya. Bless you all. I'm glad you guys are here. Come on in. Come on in. Hello, hello, hello. I am just so excited. I'm so excited, so excited. I am putting some finishing touches to a few things that we're going to be putting up in the course. And I believe it's going to be a great, great, great time. I've gotten some of you all's messages. I have not returned information back to you yet, but I will be doing that this week. So many of you who have reached out to me, I definitely will be responding to you in the next few days. I'm just trying to finalize a few things before we get cranking and going into that course. But I'm real excited about it. Excited about what this course is going to be. Again, the title of the course is Becoming His Secret Obsession. And it is going to be a 10-week course where we delve in and dig deep and find out a lot about ourselves as well as a lot about our husbands. And from my 24 years of experience, I'll be sharing some things with you, giving you some tools, hopefully giving you some things that will help you make what you have better, the best, and or the great marriage that you can have. And so I'm excited about what this is going to provide for us and what it's going to do for us in the next 10 weeks or so. So I'll make a little bit more announcement about that towards the end. And while some of you all have already reached out, I will be responding to you real shortly, getting some information back out to you. So we're going to wait for a few more people to come on in. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, April. Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad you're here. The topic of our discussion tonight is going to be around the title of And the Two Shall Be One. Yeah, and the two shall be one. So excited. April, I got your message, and I will be responding to you, but I did get your message. I wanted you to know I got your message. Hey, Marella, how are you? Welcome. Join us. Thank you for joining us. I'm a little bit running behind schedule on tonight, but I don't want to hold you guys real long, but just wanted to kind of, I'm glad you're here. Get to you just for a few moments. What I've been pondering over today is just what I wanted to share with you about And the Two Shall Be One. I think that's probably one of the most difficult things in the marriage relationship is becoming one. The day you stand at the altar, the day you in your beautiful white gown or whatever color gown you had on, it's not in the color of the gown, but whatever you were dressed in, as beautiful as you were, that day you became one by virtue of the fact you made vows one to another. Before God and witnesses, you said, I do, to death do us part, and sickness and in health, as long as we both shall live. That day there was a sense of becoming one, because we took vows, we made vows with one another. However, the real work of becoming one really happens after the altar. And many times what happens for us is we are at the altar and we think, because, hey Cheryl, we think, hey Ann, or Nikki, because we have made vows, that the wedding makes the marriage. And the wedding is just the outward expression of us deciding to join as one. But the marriage is made when you get into living together and working together and working through all the differences that you bring to the table. So to become one is one of the most difficult things to do, because we've got our own set of things that we feel are most important. And for women, most of the time, we feel like our way of doing is the best way. And sometimes we battle with doing things the way we've always been taught to do them. Many times as women, we've been taught by our grandmothers and our mothers that you don't give or you don't surrender everything to the man. You know, you keep some stuff to the side. Some stuff he just shouldn't know about. You know, you put some stuff over to the side corner, just in case there's a rainy day. And while there may be some truth in that, and I'm not here to disclaim or to debate that truth, but at the same time, to become one means that I'm willing to really take this man as my husband, as my protector, as my covering, to allow him to lead me. Difficulty for us many times as women, because we feel we know more, we feel we know better. It's difficult for us to be led by our husbands. And true enough, there are times when we do know more than our husbands. There are times when, we do have the right answer. But even in a situation like that, when you do have the right answer, it's not your place to cut him down and tell him, I'm going to do it my way and you do it your way. It's more of, honey, I think I have an answer. Honey, I think I've got a way we can look at it. I'm going to put it on the table. I would hope that you would consider it. I'm going to allow you to be the final decision maker here. But at the same time, I'm going to go in the back scenes here and I'm going to put some prayer on it. Okay? I'm going to put some prayer on it that he will make the right decision. So we have to learn how to becoming one is such a difficult thing, because it's meshing two people who come from two different worlds to become one. His world and your world growing up are two different worlds. As little girls, we're nurtured to be wives, to be mothers, to be caregivers, to take care of things, to clean house, to cook, and to do all the things that are necessary. For men, sometimes they're not raised in that capacity to take care of things. So when we get married, it's a breakdown between the two worlds trying to be one. His dad might have been a man who was very forthright. Women stayed in the house and did all the cooking, and they were barefoot and pregnant all their lives. Might be where your husband came from. Might be that your husband was very helpful. He was a mama's boy. He was in up under mama's wing most of his time, most of his life. It might be that he was one of those kind of men that were never required to do anything. Didn't have to clean or cook or do anything of necessity in the home. This depends upon where your husband came from. So learning our husbands, and it goes back to some of the stuff I've already talked about. As once we learn and understand our husbands, it makes it somewhat more easier or more attainable for us to become one. So becoming one has to do with the meshing of two souls to be one, the meshing of two ideals to be one, the meshing of two different worlds coming to align to be one. That's a difficult process. It's difficult because there's a way I like to see my house kept. There's a way he likes to leave his shoes, steps out of his shoes, leaves them sitting there, looks like he's sloopfoot. And the shoes are still in the same place they were when he walked out this morning. I don't like that. Right, so here we have conflict. Come on, ladies, you know there are things that your husband does that you just don't like. Oh, he leaves the toilet seat up and knows he should put the toilet seat down. Or he does something that's just out of this world crazy. Why would he leave a pile of clothes in that one corner? I don't know about you, but my husband has a tendency to put clothes in a corner. He knows exactly what they're over there for. He knows that they're not dirty, they're clean, but they're in this corner. I hate the corner. I hate the corner. And so I would get frustrated and take all the clothes out the corner and put them in the closet. He'll come and tell me, don't move the clothes out the corner because I know what they mean. I'm getting ready to do something with those clothes. But here again, here's the ideals of two different minds. I'm thinking that the corner is a junk pile because my corner means junky. Does that make sense? I'm thinking that the shoes should be in the closet because that's where I put my shoes. So therefore, it creates some conflict. All right. So here's where communication has to come in. In order for us to become one, communication is very critical. It's how we talk to each other. It's what we say to each other and the way we're explaining ourselves. Sometimes as women, because we are such talkers, we can talk circles around our husbands. We talk circles around them. We've said probably 100 words to their 10 in a matter of minutes because we are communicators. Many times men are processing what they want to say. So communicate it clearly. This is what I like to see. This is what I like to have my house look like. I have a pet peeve that I have in my house. I can't stand for my countertop to not be wiped down. I don't like to rub my countertop and feel crumbs. My husband has a pet peeve. He doesn't like to see dishes in the sink. All right, that was a conflict for us. We both had issues in certain areas. So what did we do? We had to start talking. He would like, I don't like dishes in the sink. And I would say, well, honey, if you don't like dishes in the sink, would you do me the kind favor of washing the dishes? I will put the dishes away if you wash them. Okay, so here we've compromised. Here we've worked with each other, right? If I don't like that the countertop has this little stickiness going on it, I will show him how I want it wiped down. Honey, when you walk away, can you do this? I'll bring out what I would like for him to spray. I will bring out what I like for him to do. I just don't get upset and say, why don't you just clean off the countertop? Why don't you do this? He doesn't get it that way. What is he going to do? He's going to throw up a defense mechanism. He's going to shut down. All he's going to hear you say is, wah, 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 wah. Yes, I know I sound like Charlie Brown. But he's going to shut down. Why? Because he doesn't hear you when you come at him like his mother. Okay, so here's a point for you. As wives, we are their wife and not their mother. So the difficulty to becoming one is we take on mother role and we want to mother our husbands to be who we want them to be rather than being their wife. There is a difference. Wife means I'm supporting you. I'm not telling you what to do. Wife means I'm going to love you through where you are. Mother says I'm going to do it for you, baby. Wife says I'm going to speak to you in such a way that you understand so our communication can be on the same level or the same place you understand me. Mother is just going to fuss at you until you get it done. Oh, come on, somebody. So see, men like three things. Men like food, they like peace, and they like sex. Now, if we're feeding them the wrong things through our mouth, if we're feeding them the wrong set of words, the words that are tearing down, the words that are not building up, the words that are not encouraging, guess what? He's going to hear his mama. rejection. He's going to shut down. He's going to close down. He's not going to be open. If our husbands are about peace and we are keeping out, we're constantly nagging. We're constantly, you hadn't done this. You didn't do this. Why don't you do this? Why won't you be like this? Why can't you be like brother so-and-so or so-and-so's husband? Guess what? Now he's getting compared. Now he's going to start saying, well, why don't you be with so-and-so? Now there's another shutdown. He's closing his mind, right? Then that carries over all the way to the bed. Then we become shut down emotionally, disconnected. We don't want to have any part of it because now we have set up this wall in his mind. We've set up a wall in our own mind. So therefore, being one is a struggle. We have to be very careful, women, how we handle these men. As I said before, they're very emotional. They are emotional beings. They're just as emotional as we are. We carry our emotions on just a lot longer. Yeah. Our emotions are carried on our sleeves. We see it. People can see it on your faces, see it in your attitude, and your disposition, and your body language. Men will put on their face of stiffness and starchness, and you never see it. So becoming one is a difficult process, and it can take time. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. Just because you said, I do at the altar, that's the first step into becoming one. The second step into becoming one is consummating the marriage. Once you have that sexual relationship, you become another level of one. But to fully be one takes time. It takes effort. It takes patience. It takes work. It takes me being patient enough till my husband gets to where he's going. One of the things that I've learned over the course of time is I can't make my husband be anything that he's not right now. I have to accept him for who he is. And acceptance is one of the most important things as we move through becoming one with our spouse. I'm accepting my husband for where he is. That's the only thing I can do. Remember, you said yes to this man. You said yes to this man. And all of his stuff that he brings to the table that you didn't know anything about, you said yes. And so because you said yes, you got to be patient. You got to work with them. So one of the things that I do, another one of the things that I do when I'm talking to my husband, I would demonstrate in front of him what I want him to do. If I want my kitchen to be kept a certain way, I will demonstrate. So I'll say, honey, when I'm not here, this is what I'd like to see you do when you clean the table. Can you do it this way? This is how I'm teaching my 14-year-old son. Son, come here. I want you to wash the dishes like this. I'm modeling the behavior. I'm giving him a visual. I'm giving him a hands-on experience with what I'm expecting. So when I come back around, then I know my son got it. It may take him some time to get it. I may have to say it over and over and over, but I know he's going to get it. So becoming one is about us learning how to deal with the differences and the difficulties that come in the marriage relationship and learning how to process through those difficulties. I'm going to go deeper into becoming one in our course that I'm going to talk about because it's important that we learn that oneness doesn't mean that we think alike. Oneness doesn't mean we have the same mind. You'll never have the same mind as your husband. You won't think like your husband. Oneness doesn't mean that we are in a three-legged race and we're both walking with the same steps. That's not oneness. Oneness is being in harmony and being a complete peace with one another, with where we are at this moment in time. That's oneness. Oneness says, I'm not going to disqualify or devalue who you are, but I'm going to accept you for who you are. Because who you are one day may be a great maybe in a great place that we stand together. I can promise you that President Barack Obama, when Michelle met him, was not the great orator that he is today. I can promise you that what we see in President Barack Obama, he was not that way when Michelle first met him. But over time, with much patience, much grace, and much temperament, she has seen this man evolve into who he is. What I'm seeing today from my husband is a man who's evolving into who he is. What we want many times, we want our man to be who he's going to be and be who he's going to be in the future the same day. And how do you know that you're not who you are or who you're going to be in your future on the same day? It takes time. It takes time to take a budding rose and let it come into full bloom. It takes time to take a bush and nurture it into a rose bush. It takes time when you plant seed for the seeds to come up and for the tree to blossom and be this great maple tree. It takes time. But I promise you, if you put the right things in them, speaking good words over them, speaking good words in them, speaking to them right. See, our words hurt, ladies. And when we say ugly things that you can't take back, those things set in them. Let me tell you a story. Many of you know I work in counseling. I'm a mental health therapist. And one of the things I see a lot of couples, and I had a couple that came to see me one time, and this man was at a very low place. He had cheated in the relationship, but this man, on one given day, he said he would come home and he would lay his head in his wife's lap. That was something he would do. She'd sit on the couch, he'd lay his head in her lap. This particular day, he laid his head in her lap. They had been having some difficulty with some things, outside things, and not necessarily within the marriage, but it was kind of a culmination of different things. He said he laid his head in her lap, and he looked up at his wife, and he said, honey, he said, would you do this with me all over again? The wife said she paused, and she looked at him, and she said, I don't know. I don't know if I would do this again. I don't know if I would do this again. He sits up and he says, at that very moment, I completely disconnected from my wife and she didn't know. For 2 years, I pretended as if I was still with her, when really I was gone. What happened? This man was looking for her to reassure him that she would be with him again. This woman was responding on the basis of the exterior things that were happening. She was responding on the basis of all the things that they have had to experience, rather than looking at him for who he was. What am I saying to you tonight, ladies? Don't let your exterior things, the things you've had to experience with one another, the outside things, determine your response to him as the husband or him in who he is. Who is, again, I'm coming back to my session. I talked about who is Mr. So who is Mr. Richardson? Who is Mr. Miles? Who is Mr. Butler? Who is this man? Who is he as I'm responding to him, becoming one with him? Becoming one has to do with understanding and knowing who this man is. And in the same time that you're learning him, he will begin to learn you, because now it'll open up the level of communication for you to communicate more effectively with one another. Communication is the number one key to becoming one. How we talk, what we say, and when we say it. You cannot say everything you need to say all the time. And when you're upset, that's not the time for you to be talking. That's the time for you to be quiet. For you to go away, sit down, pull your thoughts together, and make sure this is the time for me to say that. Am I saying this because I'm hurt? Am I saying this because I'm angry? Am I saying this because I'm frustrated? What am I saying? Because whatever comes out of your mouth in the moment of your frustration, your anger, or your discontentment, that could be the very thing that breaks the bond and separates you from being one. I know I've shared a lot tonight, but this is another passionate place for me because becoming one is one of the most important aspects of your relationship. Becoming one, joining together as one, locking arms, locking hearts, locking spirits together, being one. It's an important place. And so here is a question. So what if they don't receive the instructions on how to get it done? Well, my question to you is is it that they're not receiving the instructions? Do they not understand the instructions? Or is there another way to go about it? I'm a firm believer. Men talk in a different language than women. Men talk from a language that sometimes we don't understand. But what I have found out is if I want him to get it a certain way, I have to talk in his language. All right, so let me give you an example. So one of the things that I do quite a bit, I like for my husband to spray my shower down after we take a shower. Does it always happen? No. Do I always do it? No. I'm not upset with me when I don't do it, but I get upset with him when he doesn't do it. You know how we do. We put on our fitted shoes, ladies, and sometimes we put clown shoes on our husbands. What does that mean? That means I can wear the shoe, and if I don't do it, I'm not going to be mad with me. But if he does it, I'm going to hit the ceiling, I'm going to hit the roof, everything is going to blow this house off. The roof is coming off top of the house. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Come on now. Give me some hearts, some thumbs up, something now. Don't play. Anyway, what I try to do, I try to make sure that the instructions make sense. So I'll say something like, honey, have you noticed that the shower's kind of, doesn't look good? And he's, oh, yeah. Do you have something you can spray? Yeah, I do. It's going to be sitting right here. Can you spray it when you get out of the shower? He just thought that he came up with that answer. He just thought that was revelation for him. Y'all just got that then. I hope you got that. I put it back in his lap. See, sometimes you have to put it in their lap and allow them to come up with the answer, and you just agree. Don't say, I done told you that. Didn't you hear me tell you that before? Don't do that. Just say, yeah, that's right. So it's going to be right there. So if you see it, if you'll just spray it down, I appreciate it. Oh, my God. Yeah, that works. I appreciate you. And then put some appreciation on it. Say thank you. Say, oh, great job. Even if it's something simple and you're like, really? It really don't take that much, but it really does take that much. How many of you on this line have sons? If you have boys, you have sons. How many times you have to tell your son to do something? And when you tell him to do it and he finally does do it, have you noticed when you're celebrating what happens? Little chest gets poked out, he smiles, smiling and grinning, eyes get big. You would have thought, my God, I just struck it rich with my son. Because I celebrated him taking his trash out of his room that I've been telling him to do for I don't know how long. It's your trash in your room. But guess what happens? When you celebrate him, he's like, oh, my mama said I did good. Oh my gosh, he does it again. Have you ever noticed that? Okay, the same thing with our husbands when you celebrate them. So that's a point I'm giving you tonight. I think I've given you quite a few points on tonight. But this point particularly, celebrate him. Put praise on your lips for him. If he takes the trash out and it's like, okay, he took the trash out. When he comes back in the door, thank you, honey, for taking the trash out. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Celebrate them for what they do. Celebrate them for going out working hard every day. Celebrate him when he comes home. Don't be nagging him about the bills that's due. Okay, they do. He know. But celebrate him. Just say, you know, honey, I appreciate you working hard. I know you didn't feel good today, but I appreciate you going out that door. I appreciate you for all the hours you put in. Honey, thank you. I'm telling you, ladies, these things work. It makes him look at you differently because you got to remember there are women out there that are saying to these men or saying in their ear, somebody's ear, oh, she doesn't appreciate you? Wow, if I had a man like you, I would really appreciate you. I'd be thankful. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. So if you put praise on your lips, you celebrate your man. Talk to him in the way that he understands it. You know your husband. You know your man. And if you don't know your man, it's time to get to know him. If you don't know the man you're married to, come on, we got to get to know him. Because as long as you don't know him, that's where your struggle is going to lie. When you know your man, when you know who he is, you know how he responds, you know what turns his head, turns him on, gets him moving, gets him doing things, that's where you celebrate. See, we don't scratch where he's not itching. We scratch where he's itching and we hit the places that are going to help us get to where we're going. You got great men, celebrate them. You got great men, celebrate them. So becoming one has to do with our communication, how we talk to them. And again, I'm not talking from that this is only us doing the work. I don't want anybody to misinterpret what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that there are things that we as women can do that can help subside some of the stuff that we get frustrated with when we change our perspective and our mode of operation as it relates to our husbands. Okay? I'm going to try to read some of these later. I saw some things come up. So yes, it's important. Okay? I'm talking to you from a woman because I want us as women to do better. To do better to keep our men. To do better to help our men become. There's an old saying that says, behind every great man is a great woman. That's truth, guys. So we help our men get to where they're going. And in the process, the great woman that we are comes out. The man you said yes to, he's a great man. Doesn't matter where he is right now. Doesn't matter what he's not doing. Doesn't matter what he's looking like he's not going to do. You put the right tools in him. You say the right things to him. You encourage him. You speak into this man's life. He will become great. I promise you. He will. So, I'm going to close now. I've been on quite a bit. I hope you all got something out of that. So, let me just say this. I made the announcement earlier. December the 5th, I'm going to be having a 10-week course, and it's entitled Becoming His Secret Obsession. I'm going to talk in more detail and teach in more detail about becoming one, forgiveness, intimacy at the highest level, because I talked about it before. Some of you all are so unfulfilled sexually. And there are things that you can do to come to a place of fulfillment and fulfillment with your husband. But we have to deal with some things first. I'm going to talk a lot about just the basic things that we can do as we work on ourselves to become the wives that we need to be so that our husbands can receive the greatest wife ever. And when we start being the greatest wife ever, they will become the greatest husbands ever. Our perception is a big factor in people staying married and people walking. If I perceive that this can work, I'm going to stay. If I perceive that there's no hope here, I'm going to leave. So, this 10-week course is going to happen. It's going to begin on December the 5th. I'm going to take 10 women on this first course. This first 10 weeks, I'm going to do 10 women. If you want to be a part of this course, I want you to private message me. I will get you the information. Again, we're going to start up on December the 5th and we'll run for 10 weeks. I'm going to teach you on how to become his secret obsession. For some of you all, it's going to put some passion back in your relationship. And for some of you, it's going to turn it up. That's already there. I'm so excited about you being here. I'm so thankful that you've allowed me to be a part of your life and your married life. I'm thankful that you have entrusted me to be a part of this journey with you. So with the things that I've learned and the things that I've been entrusted with, I'm going to share with you the things that have helped my marriage to last for 24 years. In June of 2017, we'll be celebrating 25 years. Yes, yay. And I will be having a celebration. We're going to renew our vows. We're going to do all those wonderful things. And the things that we have learned are things I've learned. And just learning my husband. I'm telling you, when you know your man, it makes this marriage thing so much easier. So, if you want to be a part of the 10-week course, private message me. Again, I'm starting December the 5th. It will run for 10 weeks. And I'm going to take the first 10 women in this first course. And then we'll do another second course thereafter, following that first 10 weeks. I'm so excited again, and I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for the privilege to be a part of your married life. I take it as an honor and as a privilege. So, ladies, when you get off this line tonight, think about what I've said. Do your best to become one with your husband, and the two shall be one. Being one means I'm working daily to understand who he is, to study this man. I'm working hard to speak to him and celebrate him. I'm working hard to show him and model before him the things I desire from him. And at the end, I promise you, you'll get the results you want. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. I hope I blessed you tonight. I hope you will share this with other women. Tell them to join the group. We're going to keep coming here. We'll be back in the group. This is for tonight. We'll be back in the group. Many of you all have Bible study on Wednesday nights, and if you don't, it's okay. But we'll be back in the group. I'll come back in on Thursday night at 9 o'clock, and I'll do another short 10-15 minutes at about 9 o'clock. And I'll probably put some things up in the group. If you saw today, I put a picture of me and my honey love. And so you'll see different things I'll be putting up because I want you guys to know that this is real for me. This is a real reality. And we're going to take some marriages and we're going to make them great. In 2017, great marriages will be made. Great marriages will continue to grow. Great marriages will continue to be on the forefront of your lips. I love you. Thank you. Have a great night. Enjoy your next few days. We'll see you back here in the group on Thursday, 9 o'clock. Take care.